Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Mili reaction. Today we have Painful Death for the Lactose Intolerant. Why is that the title? I guess I'll have to figure that out, but Loafer wanted me to get to this song, as well as quite a few people over time. This is one of those songs that come around once in a while where it always gets some attention, but never quite enough to beat out another track, and this one has always been floating around various comment sections for probably the better part of almost 2 years now. So I'm gonna listen to it now. It finally won, and I guess without further ado, let's go! What? This is way happier than I thought it was going to be with the title it has. Like, it just sounds like a strangely nautical jaunt. What? This is probably bold to say, but I don't think I've ever been more confused with a Mili song. But I'm so entertained. What even is Mili at this point? Like I say this basically every single time there's a new song that I hear from Mili, I'm always like, man, that's it. That's all the weirder, that's all the more different it can be. They've reached whatever strange peaks they're going for, and now they have like a Himalayan mountain range of random shit that they tackle. And it's, even when they get into like really dark subjects, it's this. Like, what the fuck is this? So despite my confusion, I think that this song has finally given me a glimpse into more of the like direct lore of Mili's songs. Like, so Miracle Milk, right? Like, that's the album this came from, and there was obviously direct links to that subject matter with this song, and talking about some sort of Twin Islands, like, location, like, maybe, like, okay. I had to read the lyrics just to make sure I didn't miss anything specifically, so I went back and I read them, of course, as I usually do between, and, okay, Twin Islands Milk, what the hell is that? I'm sure that has something to do with the lore of what Miracle Milk is, because later in the lyrics, they're talking about it curing shit, you know, like it's just this miracle drug, you know, selling you snake oil. And then this militant background of the rest of the song that is kind of giving me like nautical vibes and maybe a little bit Navy there, which makes sense with the whole island thing. And I'm like, okay, well, now they're waging war against lactose intolerance, which is weird. That doesn't make fucking sense. But I'm sure there's, given it's Mili, there's probably some sort of like parallel analogy to that with the real world, potentially. Maybe it's something like, I don't know history quite well enough to know if there's any link to lactose intolerance with any like specific race or locale of peoples. Maybe, like, I've never paid attention to something that stupid, so maybe, but that's exactly the type of detail that Mili would pull from, that Cassie would drag out of the trenches, no pun intended, in order to to use for her lyrics, something that seems to be completely nonsensical and pointless, and it's like, hey, let's wage war against that. Let's make some sort of like militant vibe against that. Let's like, can you make propaganda against people who have lactose intolerance, you know? And now it's like big corporation make milk, miracle milk, versus people who can't drink it because they bake bad stupid, you know? Like, that's something that they would do. That is something that Cassie would write about in order to fly under the radar of what the bigger picture of the story here is. And again, there's a lot going on with this song that's like pushing that sound of the military. There's a lot of marching cadence in here, a lot of that nautical vibe that I was saying, a lot of the tin flutes, you know, stuff like that, like instruments that are very much used for like cavalry and especially floor and naval usage. They're just easy to play, easy to carry, you know? And it's like, okay, so all of this is now, again, kind of giving me this larger understanding of what this album might have been about. And I haven't picked up on basically any of that because I've been listening to it out of order and completely randomized. Like, I listened to Ocean Baby last time, and now I'm listening to this. So that's years in difference, and it's like I'm missing some of the, like, this is why, sorry to kind of pivot here, but like, this is why listening to albums all together is still very important. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that, especially in the modern way that music is fed to people. They just listen to the one or two songs that are like the solos or singles, and it's like, wow, great release. I'm going to ignore the other 10 songs. Don't do that. You've got to listen to it for stuff like this, especially because it's not just Mili doing this. There are so many albums out there that are meticulously handpicked by the people who make them in order to make all of the songs thematically consistent in some way, shape, or form. And for this one, it's a little bit more like granular with that because it seems like they're trying to tell more of like a lore-based overarching story, which is also really cool. I've always loved that. But at the same time, it's just something I feel a lot of people don't do anymore. For those of you who do, awesome, keep doing that. It's always the best way, in my opinion, to like really experience a body of work from anyone is listening to all of their releases at once when they're released together. If there is a single, sure, go ahead and listen to that, but usually those are the outliers and the exceptions, not the rule. Listen to the rest of the songs if there is a whole album or even just an EP, because those are usually meant to give you like a generalized vibe of something that they have and they want to make something more out of. And if you support things like listening to a whole EP, then that's like, oh, I want to hear more of this, please make more of it. So they usually try and listen to that and explore that sound a little bit more. So for this one, I know that like Cassie and the rest of Mili love to just kind of make random songs sometimes and stuff that is just very heavy on subject matter. They love to touch on these like darker subjects. They've never shied away from that, and I appreciate it artist to artist for that, because it's so hard to like do that and commit to it and actually have a fan base that follows that sort of subject, but also going about it in a way like this that challenges the perspective of, man, this is really stupid. Why would they be going to war over this? While in reality, that's probably the exact point they're trying to make, is like, yeah, the reason that they're going to war, whatever they're basing this on, is dumb. Like, it's probably something to do with prejudice. I could totally see that being the parallel here. Maybe not specifically lactose intolerance, but going to war over something that is equally as petty and ridiculous in hindsight, too, because like, we're fed propaganda all the time, and it's like, okay, well, better believe it, we don't have any way to say no. And in the modern day, that's a little bit different. We have plenty of outlets to get our news from, and it's a lot more open in that front, but it still happens. So I wonder if this is supposed to reflect a time or a location where that isn't as available, like media is still pretty heavily restricted, and things that are being fed to you are what they are. It's like, I have no way to tell otherwise. And maybe it's something to parallel like a world war or something, or maybe a smaller war that happened in between, where there's just this ridiculous reason that people got up in arms and fought each other, and in hindsight it seems so stupid. But I think that they're using lactose intolerance as the vehicle for that, because that would totally make sense in, again, their vibe of just picking out these weird little idiosyncratic things that don't seem to make sense, but also work together in the general goal of selling the ridiculous energy behind this. Why would you go to war for that? It seems so dumb. And this being lactose intolerance, and it's like, hey, let's go fight them. They can't like what we like. They deserve it. And it's like, that's so ridiculous. I feel like I'm on the right track here. I wonder if I'm crazy. They might have talked about this before. They might have talked about like the message behind this entire album already, especially since it's like 7 years old. It's very possible. But this one, it finally gave me a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, because up till now, I've just heard like individual songs that are either their own stories, or maybe if they are from this album and they were connected to this, I don't know how they would be connected because I didn't have this context till now. So it's like somebody showing you the entire finished puzzle after you've been sitting here handed 4 pieces to the puzzle and you're like, the fuck am I supposed to do with this? These are all individual colors. Where do these go? And then they're like, look, and you're like, oh, these go here. That's what my brain's doing right now. It's kind of wild to feel that. But I think I'm done yapping about this one. This was a legitimately fun experience because of how goofy the song is, but also because I finally got some more insight into the brain space that they might have been in during this album specifically. And I'm sure they've done similar stuff. Like, I know that Scientific Witchery and Galahad and all that stuff is like a different storyline, but it's probably all within the same universe potentially. That'd be kind of neat, like an overarching Miliverse. But either way, this was just neat to hear this. So thank you, Loafer, for putting this into the comments and finally getting it into the top of the request. So we finally got to it. And thank you all for liking it so I could get to it. And if you have anything else you want me to get to, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do that, but just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!